Ever wondered what really goes on behind a tense moment like a post-match squabble and how a team pulls it back together? Today, we're not just replaying the headlines. I'm breaking down the England Six Nations moment, then turning it into a story you'd actually want to watch on YouTube, with hot takes, deeper implications, and a look at leadership under pressure. We start with a spark, then explore the flame and the ember that following days revealed about England's leadership and planning. Why does this matter beyond rugby? Because the way teams handle conflict often predicts their future success more than a single win or loss. That on-field clash against Italy wasn't just a tactical squabble, it was a test of trust under fire. From my perspective, the real takeaway isn't who won the argument but what the players did after. They kept the door open for honest debate, then moved on together. Personally, I think that small moment, a captain speaking bluntly, teammates listening, then laughing on the pitch, actually signals a healthy dynamic more than a flawless performance would. Now, let me break down the core ideas, and why they matter, with my own take baked in. First idea, leadership resilience under pressure. Itoje says there's no crack in the leadership group, and he emphasizes open dialogue as a strength, not a rupture. What makes this really interesting is that leadership isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about how you resolve it and keep everyone aligned afterward. In my opinion, true leadership shines when you can express a tough view, hear a conflicting one, and still come out unified. A detail I find fascinating is Itoje framing the exchange as something that was natural and quickly moved past, proof that the team has a shared operating rhythm under stress. Second idea, the effect of on-field emotion on team culture. When you see a senior figure raise his voice, people assume chaos. What I'm seeing here is the opposite, a culture where accountability is expected and where communication remains explicit, even when it's heated. What many people don't realize is that controlled heat can actually reinforce trust. Teammates know where everyone stands, and they're not afraid to challenge each other. If you take a step back and think about it, this scenario mirrors high-performance teams in other sports and even in business, where candid feedback under pressure yields faster corrections and stronger cohesion. Third idea, the strategic debate under time pressure. The clash was about whether to take the three or go for a lineout and attack. From my view, this isn't just about points, it's about preferences, risk tolerance, and the confidence in the 10's leadership. One thing that immediately stands out is how quickly those conversations are resolved and shifted into execution. This raises a deeper question. Does the team's decision-making process empower the decision-makers, or does it create friction that slows the play at critical moments? In this case, the evidence suggests they moved on, which signals trust in the chosen approach and in the shared game plan. Fourth idea, rebuilding momentum after a setback. England are heading to Paris with a single change in personnel, a sign that the coaching staff is prioritizing stability. A detail I find fascinating is how a single change can influence tone and dynamics, bringing fresh energy without destabilizing the core culture that Itoje and company are defending. What this really suggests is a deliberate calibration, preserve the spine that's worked, while adding a spark to address weaknesses exposed by the Italy game. Deeper insight, leadership narratives shape team futures. The story here isn't just about one tense moment, it's about how leadership narratives, we communicate, we trust the plan, we can disagree and still unite, set a baseline for performance in critical matches to come. From my vantage point, the bigger trend is teams codifying open dialogue as a strategic asset, not a liability. If you zoom out, you can see this as part of a broader movement in elite sport, leadership training that emphasizes psychological safety, not just tactical drills. Closing thought, the Italy moment becomes a case study in adaptive leadership. England's next test against France is less about nostalgia for a flawless game and more about whether the group can translate this moment into sustained cohesion and sharper execution. What this really suggests is that the winning teams aren't the ones who avoid conflict, but the ones who harness friction into clarity and direction. If you're building a team, sports, startups, or creative groups, the lesson is universal. Create a space where tough conversations happen, agree on a path quickly, then execute with conviction. What do you think is the most valuable form of conflict in a high-stakes environment, the push for a better plan or the discipline to move on once a decision is made? Let me know in the comments.